The plainest Jane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of controversy. Yes, indeed. Y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. And today we're honing in on Wendy Williams and Kelvin Hunter as they took to the public in some brand new videos to set the record straight with regards to what's happening with Wendy and her world, and especially her health. There was some really alarming things that were shared between last night and today. So Wendy and her ex-husband, they shed light on Wendy having been surrounded by a corrupt team and staff that really could care less about Wendy Williams' legitimate well-being, because even without Wendy Williams being alive, they're still able to profit off of her brand somehow, some way. So let's get into what Wendy had to say first, and then we'll hear from Kelvin Hunter.
My thing is that I've been asking questions about my money. And when I began asking questions about my money, suddenly Lori Schiller has got no response regarding my money. I want my money. This is not fair. And Wells Fargo has no questions and answers with regarding my money. This is not fair. And Lori Schiller and Wells Fargo have this guardianship petition about keeping me away from my money. This is not right. And you know this is not fair. And this guy named Bernie Young, I know for a fact that Bernie Young used my American Express card to hire an attorney to file a petition against me. That was done with my American Express card. Bernie Young, you're no good. And this is not fair at all, you know? And then there's this person, a former doctor, okay, had medical information about me that I never even got. It was sent over to Lori Schiller. So I haven't gotten the stuff. I fired the doctor. And again, all I want to know is, where is my money? This is not right. And certainly, this is not fair. This is not fair. You know, Wells Fargo has used all this stuff to create the guardianship over me. This is not right. And certainly this is not fair. The New York court system is, without evidence, they're being weird to me, this court system. Without evidence, they took all this information and continued with what's going on with me based on what Wells Fargo is doing. This is not fair. This is not fair, you know? And the New York court is treating me like they did in, do you remember Kung Fu judge case? Do you remember that Kung Fu judge case? That's not right, and that is not fair. Lori Schiller, Bernie Young, and Wells Fargo, please let me have access to my money. This is not right. And again, This is not fair. Have a pleasant day. Thank you.
Yeah, something really seems off still, in my opinion, about Wendy. Is she getting better? She doesn't seem to be as far off her beaten rocker as she was before, but something definitely is not right. And I could even see in this video, if you go ahead and rewind it, she's like reading from cue cards. She can't keep track of her thoughts. And don't get me wrong, that is something that is actually, a lot of celebrities go live and they have, bullet points. And hell, when I do my videos, I've written up my cue cards and things too, so that I don't lose track. But Wendy was saying very simple stuff. And for her to have to read off a cue card, give me access to my money, I'm fine. You guys aren't right for doing this to me. Something about it still seemed a bit incoherent. And so they are debating or in attempts right now to get Wendy Williams under a guardianship. Her former manager has filed for a guardianship in order to keep her money away from her, in addition to Wells Fargo. So I really want to know what you think. I know that before I moved, right? You're viewing me here on this channel with, a little less than 4,000 subscribers. Before I quote unquote moved, I've done a lot of videos, and Wendy Williams is an amazing case study and honestly an inspiration. She has her very nasty and ugly moments. And I think that karma has a bit to do with why Wendy is going through some of these things. She's been nasty to so many people under the years. She's not aging gracefully. Her health is not well. Her team seems to be corrupt and just in a rush to take her money. And also, they don't care if she dies. It has been proven by now that you do not need Wendy Williams alive or present in order to make money off of her name. We're going into a year now that Wendy Williams has been absent from her brand, which is the Wendy Williams Show, and it is a well-oiled machine. You've had Sherry Shepherd and everyone under the sun stepping in to co-host this show, and they're still getting paid, so they don't care if she goes on to glory. And I do think that she's surrounded by a lot of bad people. Her husband was definitely one of them, but what I will say as we watch this video, because her ex-husband definitely spoke out and he said some things and he put a few people on blast. My mind has changed as far as I always felt like Kelvin Hunter needed to get away from her and stay away from her. And in an emotional aspect and a romantic partner aspect, a spouse, absolutely get away from her. You have embarrassed her. You have humiliated her. You have stepped outside of your marriage, and now you have a baby. That all of that was humiliating for Wendy to be in the public eye. However, whenever he is absent, she gets worse. Her business gets worse. The enabling gets worse. More people are able to swoop in and take advantage of her existing problems. Wendy has a full track record of substance abuse and the dire need for rehabilitation. And when you are dealing with the need to be rehabilitated, whether you're in rehab or whether you're doing it yourself, you still need a little bit of something that you were hooked on in order to get by. Otherwise, you'll go through withdrawals. Ask any junkie or anybody who's been addicted to pills, alcohol, whatever your vice is. And so her still needing some of whatever it is that she does, whether it's booger sugar, pills, alcohol, whatever, they still got to give her a little bit so that she can be okay. And unfortunately, for a lot of people in front of the camera who are entertainers, they need a little something to get them in the groove. And Wendy's been doing this for years. Wendy Williams is enabled in the same way that Whitney Houston was enabled. Whitney Houston, amazing entertainer, one of the best singers that ever existed, but she had a problem. And the people around her enabled her, and they kept her on that stuff so that they could maintain the proximity, whether it be for money, whether it be for clout, whether it be for social capital, whatever the reason was, they enabled the hell out of Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston was someone who would get all done up. And when I say done up, I mean zooted and booted and be out there thinking she's doing great. Whole time her hair is not looking good, her face is not looking good, words are slurred, she's not in the right state of mind. It's the same thing that's happening with Wendy Williams. And for some reason, Kelvin Hunter handles her business in a way where other people can't. Wendy Williams can't even handle her business affairs the way that Kelvin Hunter does. But these are some of my thoughts. I won't dump all my thoughts on you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get right into what Kelvin Hunter had to say. We're going to take a listen together. He spoke for a long time. Literally, the sun was up when he started speaking and the sun was all the way down when he got done speaking. I want to go ahead and play this stuff. And thank you so much to the people joining the channel membership. I appreciate y'all right now. When it comes to Wendy Williams and her ex-husband, emotional turmoil, yes, but he does protect her image. He protects her bottom line, which is her money. And no one else has been this efficient with protecting her in this way. But I'll let you listen. I've listened to this whole hour, a little bit over an hour long video that he did. And I took some notes, and the stuff that he was saying, it was like, damn, it basically sounded like Wendy's team was trying to take her out, send her to God. Because again, it's been proven they paychecks are still going to get signed whether Wendy's here or not. Period, point blank. And that's really sad. So make sure you subscribe. And I appreciate y'all hitting the thumbs up button. Thank you for sharing this video on Twitter or wherever else. It really means a lot the way in which you guys engage with my content. Let's get into what Kelvin Hunter had to say.
The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of controversy.
There's a few things I want to kind of address. I'm not going to take up too much of everybody's time. For the people that are here, you can share, but these are, my words. When it comes to whatever narratives that might be spun out there regarding me, my entire family, I want to first and foremost say that, I respect, I truly respect and appreciate all that I was able to experience with my ex-wife and what we were able to accomplish. What she accomplished clearly on her own, through her own merit, and what we were able to accomplish together. There has been, also with that, when it comes to my personal life, not my professional life, when it comes to my personal life of what the public has been able to see in real time, I take full accountability for my actions and understanding, how I might have hurt a lot of people who witnessed seeing at the time one of the only Black families in daytime television. So I understand how passionate that people have been passionate through the years, even before I came into the picture, and continue. There's haters that turn into lovers. There was a lot of hard work that was put in around the clock that only me and her will understand before all the hoorah and where it went. So I don't expect a lot of people to understand what sacrifice really means when you're going for something, or when you want to fulfill your mate at the time's dreams. Only real dudes can relate to this. When you meet somebody and you really want to see them excel, and you put it on the line for them, to the point where you put yourself in the back because you want your queen to shine. That's like that was the real narrative. And
here's what I'll say. Listen, I really don't like Kelvin Hunter. I don't like her because I felt like he contributed to her demise by breaking her heart this way. What I will say is it took a lot for me to have to listen to this because I feel like he's a low down dirty dog, and that he is. A leopard never changes his spots. And he even says something about that in this video. But just listen to what he's saying about how malicious her team is and how and what he's doing to keep things in order and to salvage what there's left to salvage when it comes to Wendy Williams, her legacy, her money, her brand. That's what he's here to protect. Some people would say, oh, he's just here to collect money to give to his mistress and a baby. Hey, listen, two things can be true at one time. However, had he not showed up, Wendy wouldn't be here right now. And he sheds light on that a little bit in this video. And y'all remember when I did that video when Wendy Williams was quote unquote masturbating in front of her staff? Wendy Williams has been close to glory more times than we even know. A couple times that we know as the public, but her team has been out for a long time. You know, most, especially Black people, Black women with a voice, or let's just say Black people, worth more dead than alive. If Wendy passed away today, God forbid, I'm not speaking it into, but let's just talk. You know how they would memorialize and make so much money from the reruns on syndicated television and the radio and the merchandise and whatever. Them paychecks would not change. They might even increase if Wendy Williams went on to glory today. So just listen what this low down dirty dog got to say and what he's doing to protect what's left.
What came out of that, regardless of what anybody would think, was something extraordinary. The sacrifices that we made to put all of that in front of the foundation that is family was something that we suffered and we succumbed to, you know. And I will agree that, you know, for a large part of it, when you're in the trenches doing things, you know, some of it is karma. And even though from where a lot of you people see it, you see it as, well, yeah, you started to come, you did it. Well, it was deeper than that. And I'm not going to go, I'm being as forthright as I choose to be. We're making the real people here understand what it takes when you really sacrifice and you go all in. See, I was all in. And I was given the opportunity to do that, coming from straight hustle and ingenuity and using my attributes to the best of my ability. You know what I mean? And for people who know, they know. For people who don't know, you know, I'm not gonna over explain that. But the opportunity that someone gave me, I was very appreciative of at the time. This is the opportunity to manage one of the most polarizing and prolific talents outside of a Howard Stern. So I was honored. And it's a shame that through all of that and through all of what you really work hard to do, you realize that, damn, when you get to that point, you know, this, you know, it ain't everything. It ain't everything when it take away so much from something. And that's where everything went left. But again, I take full accountability and I stand on the principle of knowing that it hurts somebody and not to speak to somebody, oh, you still see somebody, you keep it moving. But when it's on this level of what me and her was and what was being created and cultivated, in some cases originated.
Oh Lord. Bars. He think he got bars.
Like, you got to deal with that accordingly. And I know my general makeup to a lot of people might seem a certain way. You hear a lot of things about people who don't know me. It's a small group of people who do. And I'm not trying to prove nothing. The people that I have helped, the people that I have been instrumental of being a catalyst to, they know who they are. And, you know, I wish nothing but the best still. Even when you do me dirty, it's like, all right, God got me, I'm good. He brought me this far, he gonna keep bringing me. And I don't wish nothing bad on the situation, so that's why I remain quiet throughout. You know, when I did choose to share certain pertinent things, people decided they wanted to exploit, twist it, you know, all for clicks. It's all good. God got me. He don't got you. To any event, what happened to me as an executive in a business that does not have a lot of diversity was not called for. And I struggled with whether I was going to pursue this, because after such a public divorce where everybody chose to do what they do in the movie, and which I feel was not a rightful depiction of the situation at all. You could have definitely spent more time on the real accomplishments and the defining moments that made her who she is. There's a lot of people that need to be thanking what she put down. From TMZ on down, when there wasn't no platforms and all these you know, wasn't no social media. But instead, you know, there was a bunch of hurt. There was a bunch of people using the opportunity to discredit, take a personal situation and discredit my hard work. Hard work where I never missed a day, maybe 3 days tops out of 10 years. She never missed one day. And because of that, the effects of that are happening now. See, if there's any other player, let's just say from a sport or what have you, and they happen to have a season where they're injured or whatever, you know, you give that person time to rehab and do what they need to do. But when you don't do that, then you risk more injury, more hurt, more pain. I remained silent because I wanted the person that I was going through this with to not go through as much pain, you know, as it was causing with a deeper rooted issue at hand that everybody seems to have just thought just went into thin air. I didn't want that person to keep suffering. So I took whatever blows I needed to take, and I still was helping. So for all of you people that just think, you know, it's about taking something, in the midst of my divorce, I continued through the grace of God to save a person's life. Do me a favor, once I cut the light on.
I ain't cutting no shit.
I continue to go through that, you know, because that's the type of person I am. So I never stopped being that person. But through the course of the divorce, one of the fastest celebrity divorces in history, because I basically left whatever on the table just to have peace of mind and wanted her to have peace of mind. In doing so, I still had to save life. I still had to save her life. And there's some people that very much know what I'm talking about, because they was responsible for almost seeing her life come to an end.
Okay, there's some important stuff he's saying here. Ooh. Come on.
There's current people in place, management, that clearly put her in a life and death situation.
Okay.
And denied medical coverage.
Medical coverage.
And care.
Child, not denied.
If it wasn't for my son and myself stepping in.
Now, how you going to deny Wendy Williams being the millionaire or billionaire she is medical coverage? Y'all gonna be that petty? That's the thing. Y'all really wanted her up out of here. Y'all wanted her out of here. There's no way in the world not that she should have to depend on that, but at some point, if I don't need your benefits, I got it myself. Y'all are her employer. Like, she comes here every day and switches her life around to work for y'all. It's her brand, but the money still comes from somewhere. And all of a sudden, she's the sickest she's ever been in her life. And all of a sudden, y'all playing games with her insurance? Really? I'm not saying that Wendy Williams is a saint and she deserves grace from the court of public opinion, like the way she comes at these celebrities, especially black women. See, because she'll come at the black community all day long and drag them up and down. Come to the Kardashians, she tiptoe. I've never liked that. How she treats the white media or the non-black media and gives them grace and doesn't drag them and then drags us. I don't like that about her, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about her physical health and her being able to go to the doctor and get the help that she needs to still be able to perform and still be able to satisfy the requirements that she needs to in order to be on daytime, midday syndicated television, which, by the way, is the hardest slot to fill. It's different being that 5 a.m. person, that 6 p.m. person, that 10 p.m. person, that midday. You got to be on it. And y'all are playing games with her health. Y'all wanted her up out of here because y'all realize we don't need her here in order to make money off of her name and her brand and what's left of her legacy. That's what y'all wanted, and that's not okay.
That's it. And when I say step in, I mean when you got somebody telling, my son, who's the most beautiful spirit on the place on this planet, you got people that's trying to objectify him right now because all he wants is his mother well. He don't care about none of that. He grew up in front of all of this. He don't know nothing, but he wants his mother well. Well, you got somebody sitting there who just got there telling your son that no, you can't send these people up to a place to save her, to do a real wellness check. Not this control stuff that's happening now, a real wellness check. You got somebody telling a 20-year-old that to a point where he got to say, if you don't let these people upstairs to go look at my mom's, I'm calling 911. That's the only thing that allowed.
So not only were y'all denying her medical coverage and saying her insurance wasn't compatible with whatever's going on, they're trying to get a medical professional up there while she's having these episodes and she needs between Wendy Williams' mom being gone, she also has, is it lymphemia? And there's a lot of different health conditions that she has. Y'all are refusing to allow EMTs and medical professionals up there to do a legitimate wellness check. See, because if Kelvin or her son isn't around, there's not a family member, somebody that actually cares about her, and they're like, oh, we did a wellness check in air quotes. It's easy to pay a doctor to say that you're okay. It's easy to pay a doctor to say that somebody else is okay. So again, if they don't care about Wendy Williams' well-being, then they'll find a doctor that will just say she's okay and keep going about their day and not really care about her being exhausted or anything else. Lymphedema and Graves' disease. And she also has mentioned a thyroid condition. So you mean to tell me her 20-year-old son had to threaten to call the police in order to get his mom medical attention? Y'all are creating a circle around her that no one can penetrate to watch her without the resources that she needs in order to not only live but satisfy the requirements that y'all have for her. Come on now.
For rescuers to get up there. And 2 blood transfusions later, that queen's still here. With people who, because of, I don't know if it's pride, a narrative, a overall dissent, I understand that there was a bunch of people around me that didn't want to be around me. I get it. I come from a certain place. I understand that there was a bunch of people that couldn't wait till I get out the way so that they can have their way. I get it. I didn't, I understand. But the amount of people that knew exactly what was happening on my departure and not making sure that certain steps was in place, because certain departments that's supposed to be, when you had a normal situation, you're supposed to have different departments to deal with somebody of this magnitude in case anything happens. So i.e., you would have never seen this happen to a Ellen DeGeneres. You would have never seen this happen to a Jimmy Fallon. You don't hear about any of this stuff. But here, there's no installation for a person. And for the most part, there are people who absolutely know. And they know so much, they ready to they know. So I'm not just saying that, like, I'm telling y'all this because at the end of the day, it wasn't about half of what anybody thinks. I know I don't owe anybody or everybody an explanation. I'm just being forthright right now. That was one of the instances. Wow.
And he brings up a great point, because Wendy Williams is filming from home and it looked a mess. We all seen it. She looked worse at home than she ever looked. When she was filming from her kitchen, it was horrible. She had no, makeup artist. And let's keep it a buck. The makeup artist is crucial to someone with a Wendy Williams aesthetic. And I'm not trying to be mean or shady, because this is sad that she's going through all this, but there is no way they would have Ellen DeGeneres, Jimmy Fallon, or any of those big names in daytime television and or late. They would not have them at home looking the way that she looked. Wendy has way too much money for that. Way too much money. Way too much access. Why did they do her dirty like that? She's loopy. She didn't look right. No one cleaned up her background to give her something that was presentable. It's like they were doing it on a webcam. It was the trashiest quality. Why is the quality on my little $1,500 setup better than what Wendy Williams was doing on daytime television? Not to mention her mind wasn't right. Kevin goes on in this video to say there was only 2 people there, Booth and Wendy. That was it. They wouldn't allow anybody else in to help produce the show from home. It's more difficult to produce a show from home than it is to do it in the studio. It's more difficult. So why would you limit her like that and leave her out looking crazy? Because you knew they would either take her off the air and not necessarily pull the show off the air, because y'all will still be able to make y'all money even if Wendy is not well or is not here and is spending time with God answering the questions. Like, why was you so mean and nasty to them people, Wendy? This ain't right. This ain't right at all. And I'm glad that he's long-winded, but I'm glad he spoke up and said something, because I need to go to the bush.
It was gone.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
It's given setup. It's given setup. Outside of Kelvin Hunter being a low-down, dirty dog, and he's a dog.
And he's a leopard that ain't ever going to change his spots. Her team, those staff surrounding her, they are also some low down, dirty dogs. And y'all like the video for the way I say low down, dirty dog. I love saying it. Just a low down, dirty dog. Wendy Williams is surrounded by vultures. And it ain't right. It ain't right.
Getting dragged, you know, and that's cool. With that being said, professionally, when it comes to the lawsuit that I'm presenting, and what I waited, you know what I mean, to do, because I didn't know if I really wanted to go through anything after all this happened with the divorce. It's about the respect of what I did contribute creatively. It's about no disrespect to the people that came before and the people that clearly worked in the business longer than me. And I know that they never would have chose me. I had to inherit the situation, and I might not knew how to exactly produce a show, but I had to learn a lot real fast. And people where I'm from, you have to adapt and learn stuff fast. So I adapted real fast, and I knew how to produce my peoples. In turn, she knew how to give the proper respect to me. And for that, I'm forever grateful. And a lot of people ain't understand that. A lot of women would want to say, oh, you should have did this, had that, whatever. I don't compare my situation to none of the other kings out here that's married to powerful women, and they might earn more or do more, because it takes a foundation that's real for any of that to survive. And for all the ones that's doing it on their own, salute to you. But for the ones that where the corporations come in and pretty much marry y'all, not the men that's out here really, you know, fighting and cherishing, but for the corporations that try to step in and become that, that's crazy. At the end of the day, I wasn't allowed to go get my belongings. I was objectified as some sort of monster because I chose to have an extramarital relationship. Tell me where they fire you for. Okay, you had a regular job, you could just say, I don't want to deal with you no more. But where they fire you, or because you are not with somebody anymore, after being such a successful part, an integral part. You might not want to really admit it, but if you didn't want me there, you other things could have transpired. And you know, I would have been, I'm not going to stay nowhere. It wasn't really the plan for me to be there that long anyway. I'm there to support my peoples and making sure it's right. She wanted me to be there, so I'm there. That's my peoples I'm going hard for. Like I go hard for my peoples now. That's just what it is. I know a lot of people don't understand why I chose to do what I did, whatever I did, and I don't really owe you no explanation. But to say that I go with realness and honesty and integrity, and I don't always be where the money's at. And whatever happened between me and my ex-wife happened way before, and you know what? We worked ourselves into a situation where we just either had to keep working or we was bound to crash. And that we did. In terms of her wellness to date, I'm totally supportive of my son, who is a beautiful spirit, a gentle giant, and will probably soon be objectified as some sort of monster, somebody that's trying to take advantage of his mother, even though he's her only heir. But he soon will be objectified like that. And you know what? He's not going to deserve that because he's not that.
You know what? Let me dig in, because I saw someone. Thank you, Jen, Too Fit to Quit. I appreciate you coming through. You always support the stream and hit thumbs up, and that means so much to me. You said something not too long ago that, you know, I got to agree with. I'm going to try to find the comment real quick. What I heard the other day, here we go. she was on Good Morning America, did an interview and said, my health is great. I've got the mind and body of a 24-year-old. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wendy, my girl, look, this is sad what she's going through, but I got to find a little spot to laugh, right? Like, I got to bring my sense of humor with me. Baby, 25, where? Where you been looking 25, girl? What you talking about? What? It's definitely giving beyond auntie now. It's giving granny. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And it's one thing to pump yourself up like that when you by yourself in the bathroom in the mirror. That's one thing. But to say that on television, knowing damn well, knowing damn well, girl, body always been shaped like an uppercase P. You know, and combined, you know, just how not there you are mentally. Listen, this is a little pocket to laugh because everybody choked. If you were drinking juice when you read or heard this, you said 25 where? Where? What's going on? You don't look it, you don't sound it, nothing. Where? But no, that is an indicator that she is not well. She's not well. If she really think that that mind or that body is giving off 25, baby, it's not well. It's not. It's not. And my whole thing is like, okay, if you, somebody online said, is she counting the dog years? I said, you know what? You ain't right. I'm not going all the way to hell with you. I'll like say goodbye to you at the gate. But like, no, there's nothing given 25 about. There's nothing given 25 about Wendy Williams outside of maybe some shoes she had 25 years ago. You know, it's not okay. And I'm wondering if, like I said, the team, when you realize you can get over on somebody, and when you realize that there's someone around the person you're trying to get over on that won't let you get over that person, you'll find any reason to kick that person out the door. So I'm wondering, because based on what Kelvin is saying, and mind you, his verbiage is suspect as hell. He said, that was my people's. I was trying to make sure my people's was good. That was your wife. That wasn't your people's. That wasn't your homeboy. That was your wife, right? But if he's saying that Wendy wanted me to stay, but they wanted me to leave, I wasn't even allowed to get my stuff. Sounds like they locked him out the studio and they locked him out. And Wendy being in that mindset and not being as aware as she could have been, they used that as the nail in the coffin to say, oh yeah, you can definitely get away and we can take advantage and set her up all we need to. They were never able, and Wendy has been vocal about that in the past, and I'm gonna go back and find the interviews. Wendy has been vocal about how well Kelvin Hunter handles her business, not her emotions in the household, but her business. And when he's around, they can't F her over. But when he's not around, they got free reign to do whatever they want to do. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a low down dirty dog, but they used that affair to get him up out of there so they could soup her up and do whatever they wanted to do to her. And that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comments.
All of this for the sake of business and money. I understand the essentialness of all of that. I understand that, you know, things come to an end. But when you look at what happened in the interim of my departure, you could draw your own conclusions and understand that if the opposite would have happened and she would have flourished and been so much better without any of my involvement whatsoever, and I wish and pray that and hope that, you know, like she meets somebody and love continues and we still can be respectful with how we have to deal with whatever, because we do have a beautiful specimen of a son that still needs us. If it would have went the other way, I would nothing but applaud, and I probably would not even look to seek the respect that's rightfully mine as I struggle with even making this decision to go with this lawsuit. All we wanted, all everyone needs is some peace and some time right now. And regardless of however her family might feel about me, I got nothing but love and respect for them. I wish them well. God bless them. There's a lot, and I just God bless them all. Be part of my son's family. Look, I don't have no hate. Whatever hate I had, I left when I left New York. I left it there, along with all the bad energy and frequencies. At the end of the day, the lawsuit is about anybody after me going through a somewhat similar situation and is fighting, for their respect. No disrespect to the people that were supportive, but for anybody that he wasn't and you was there, then this is the product. This is like what the outcome is, and I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time because and I'm not gonna be jumping on this all the time. I can't say I'm taking no questions or anything like that. The people that I'm suing are Debmar Mercury, affiliated with Lionsgate, for wrongful termination. At the end of the day, the people, the handlers, everybody that's surrounding the situation, there's a motive that's getting real ugly. And even for people that have grown to dislike, and they looking at this like this is some live TV show and you just enjoying the antics, just understand at the helm of all of this is someone that's really fighting, for theirs. And wherever I stepped away and try to give them room to do and create, just so that, without all of the hoopla, like that's part of my legacy, like my new legacy that's also a part of me. That's part of me, And I support Elizabeth. I salute Elizabeth Warren and her whole plight against the Wells Fargo system of banking and what's happening with these predatory people out here. And understand that whole fight, when you're dealing with these banks, it gets real crazy. It's a lot of people that are not in a position to have any kind of voice or platform, and they're elderly or what have you, and they're getting preyed upon with their wealth or whatever they have. And if you want to narrow that down to how our people is ranked in that, then it's even worse. As far as again, thanks to Hunter Publishing for allowing me to be on this platform. I could have did a whole lot of different things. I'm going to probably repost this. I just wanted to talk to y'all without a whole lot of extraness. I am going to start doing a few things to support what I'm doing respectfully, and the amazing people that I'm working with. As far as as far as anybody else that's out there with the negativity and the people that's clicking and the people with the.
Now listen, this is something I picked up on earlier. I ain't gonna be messy and say no names, but listen to what he's saying right here. There's somebody in the comments going off, being quote unquote negative, that got under his skin for just a moment here. And listen to what he's saying, and listen to he says, we already know you're a liar. We know that you just talk mess. You're not credible, and you're a liar. Who do you think that was? I've got my guesses. I'm going to go on the Discord and say it. But let me know who you think he's talking about right now, because somebody came in this live commenting, causing chaos, and he's addressing it right now.
Weird obsessions for me. look, I ain't got nothing but dust for them. Y'all, you know, I'm not on trying to make this a whole suit campaign against a whole bunch of people and all like that. Like I got things I have to do and still accomplish for the legacy that is, you know, this really what that's about too. I'm part of somebody else's legacy, and then I'm establishing my own legacy for both of my kids, my beautiful kids, and my current lovely situation with my partner. My friend, my confidant. I want to give a special love and support to Vegan Nose and Vish and all those platforms. And I'm honored to be part of that. When it comes to the support I got and continued support I will have no matter what, from near, from far, I wish nothing but the best in health and wellness, and know that the person that I know, as long as they stay focused and get to what's really important in your process, when you're dealing with recovery, when you're dealing with any type of real trauma, you know, you just got to make it about yourself. The best thing that I could have did was make it about myself through this turmoil.
That's what you've been doing the whole time.
Focus more on the foundation.
Is making it about yourself.
Because money is essential, but it definitely ain't everything. And the way that this world is going, it looks like you got to have more than just money. Yeah, friend and confidant. That's my people's.
Friend and confidant.
Lena Hudson. She's a warrior. She, you know, she is.
Now, you went from calling Wendy Williams the queen not too long ago, and now you big up in the mistress. My friend, my confidant. She's a warrior. She's a warrior because she stole you from Wendy? That don't make her no damn warrior. That make her the beneficiary of sloppy seconds and Wendy's money. That's why she repoed that call on you, Kelvin. How dare you sit here and big up Sharina in the midst of all this when that contributed a bit to Wendy Williams' decline. You got some real nerve. You know what? You ought to be ashamed of yourself, but I know that you're not. You are out of pocket.
Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that?
What do he gain from that? Maybe he gained to get out the doghouse. We don't know. But that ain't right, child. I said, what type of All right. Thank you for the tea on what's going on with her health and everything like that. But keep Sharina out of this because we still don't like her. Period. I'm not even sure if I like the baby. Okay?
That's my people.
Your people. You see how he called, and see, that's the thing. What I do have to give him credit for is he disrespect Wendy and Sharina the same way. He called Wendy his peoples. That was your wife. You call Sharina the woman you cheated on Wendy and left her for your peoples. Yeah, these my peoples. At this point, y'all in an open relationship. Am I right? This sounds like polygamy. Girl.
And she is family.
Oh, she family. Okay.
And I do have family. And I will continue to have family.
Oh, okay.
And my family is unfortunately what I make because of just how my whole family is. And, you know, that's a whole nother story. The support I will continue to have for my son, the support that I will continue to have for his mom, no matter what takes place, you know, no matter like there's stuff that y'all will never understand that goes on behind the scenes, and you know, no matter what type of picture someone tries to paint, just know that there's a lot that has happened. And we will not rule out the fact that, you know, in a lot of situations, You know, you could be worth more dead than alive, depending on what kind of insurance policies and whatever people have. And I hope that God continue doing what he's doing to make, you know what I'm saying, make the impossible possible.
Yeah.
And I hope he continue giving everyone out there that's supportive the strength to, you know what I'm saying, keep powering through everything that's happening in this crazy world right now. I understand that there's a lot of talk shows that's getting canceled, you know, because people are into so much nonsense.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
But through the trials and tribulations, there are some Jews that are brought. And you know,
okay.
When Wendy was going through rehab, rehabilitation, excuse me. Okay. Let me be very clear.
Okay.
When she was being rehabilitated,
girl,
and the opportunity came for people to fill in her show 2 years ago when things were somewhat awry, and everyone knew it, including the people and her subordinates, and everybody knew it. When all that was happening and desperately had to fill in spots, I was very intricate in suggesting and telling them Nick Cannon is a very, very good choice. No disrespect. And while they were working with Jerry O'Connell, who's also phenomenal talent, Nick Cannon, and that turned into, you know, a whole thing. And, you know, I salute Nick Cannon.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. Like I said, when it comes to the business side of it, he knows what he's talking about. Is he emotionally astute? Absolutely not. But are talk shows going out of style because people would rather see people fight, like Zeus Network, Love and Hip Hop, whatever? Oh, absolutely. People have lost that desire to watch like legitimate discourse. You have to get Ghetto Ratchet to look for a viral moment that typically includes violence in order to blah, 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 right? But him thinking that Nick Cannon could fill Wendy's shoes, Nick Cannon's not messy. Nick Cannon is not a gossiper. He's a goofy businessman. Like, I see Nick Cannon where Steve Harvey is later on in life, you know? So I get what he's saying, but I feel like he wanted Nick Cannon to take her spot so that it wouldn't, either he's misinformed that he was just capping for Nick and he's friends with Nick, or he wanted somebody that just wasn't as good as Wendy at all, so that when Wendy got back, it would be like, oh my gosh, thank goodness you're back, because this nigga couldn't hold it down. I mean, the other people outside, the ratings weren't high with Nick on there at all. That's why they shuffled around so many people. But let's finish here. We got
and it's unfortunate that, you know, you couldn't get the support that you needed. Whatever support that we received during while I was there, the support that we received had to come by hook or crook, in a sense with, you know, just pressuring and sometimes not coming across, you know, so likable. But I'm fighting for my family at the time. This is not just somebody I'm representing. There's some no disrespect to the managers that's out there that's really representing their people and going hard, and they would damn near die for their people. Well, this is my family, so I'm definitely in that position where I would die for mine. So I'm gonna go hard for mine. So everybody else go home to their families. I gotta take this home and deal with everything. So I'm going hard.
Ciao. To cheat?
What you seeing from season 1?
Well, how many homes you got? Was it Wendy's home, Sharita's home, the Airbnb where y'all could do y'all in between thing? Don't nobody want to. I would die for mine. Keep that. Don't, girl.
In terms of aesthetic, style, not taking nothing away from the contributions, but when it comes to her the personal style of it all, and what, you know, what needed to come across, because when you're not a sample size in daytime television, when you're not the size of Kelly Ripa and all of them, then you got to buy clothes. So what you've seen and how it was presented was all fighting behind the scenes for budget to open, to make sure that while the only person who could sit in a chair for 25 minutes a day, even against all the women, all the men, even the men in nighttime talk shows, late night talk shows, they don't have monologues that go for 25 minutes, 12 minutes tops. She's there for 25 minutes just engaging with these people. So,
and here's what I'll say. He's clearly speaking on Wendy Williams when she was doing the damn thing, when she was well before her decline. And that's why he is, hey, debate me, debate your mama, whoever you want to. He was good for her on a business sense. Like, if it came time for Wendy to get a new deal, he could pitch her well. He has her highlight reel and her strengths engraved in his mind, so that when it's time for her to flex, or her agent, her manager, or whoever to flex what she's capable of, oh, he could do that. Because at one point, Wendy was the only woman for 25 minutes straight that could do that. Have any of you watched any of these daytime television shows lately? Whether it be The Real, The Talk, The View, the this, they get to talking for 4.5 to 5 minutes. As soon as the conversation get good, they go on commercial and they switch into the next day. It's like they don't trust these people to have longer conversations around that 10:30 to 1:32 p.m. time slot. It's more commercials than talking. At one point, Wendy could get down. She was on her game. She could remember things. But now she don't even remember the name of the person she's talking about. She done got the name wrong. She looking at the teleprompter. She not even on planet Earth. So again, I feel like, he's talking about the old Wendy and what she was capable of and what she has accomplished. Do these skills that he's reading off, though, do they apply to Wendy's capabilities now? That's the question. Can she truly be rehabilitated, and not in the sense of the substances she does, as far as how she presents herself and delivers information and shares her personality with us? Can she be rehabilitated to be as great as she ever was? My answer is no. My answer is no, because her mind's not right. All of Wendy Williams' best work is behind her. Her peak is behind her. For example, you talk about people like Drake. His peak is behind him. Drake will never be as great as he was. That's not putting Drake or Wendy Williams or whoever in competition with anybody else. It's putting him in competition with the great Michael Jackson. The greatest thing he ever did was Thriller and or Bad. Michael Jackson was always competing with when he did so effing well, but his peak was behind him. So let's finish listening to what Kevin got to say, child, because I would love to talk about any other aspect of entertainment, because he's long-winded, but let's hear what other tea he going to spill, because a lot of this is about himself, but he is spilling some tea. Once every 10 minutes, he says a little something.
you got to look the part. And she was the only person that still can do it effectively. No disrespect to anybody, her predecessors, people after her. I salute y'all. I wish y'all the best. But what had to happen in terms of the fight of sorts to get to that point was something. And I remember, I remember Shakim Compare told me at the beginning of the journey, he said, look, there's not a lot of positive images of Black people on television, man. So to make sure, that stuck with me. So that was my blood sweat. Hello?
Lord. Old people and technology, child.
Hello?
Child, not him. Hello? You're not on the phone, sir. Keep talking.
Hello?
Child.
I guess I'm not on.
Child.
Hello?
Child, not him. Keep helloing us to death.
I'm back.
Child.
Listen, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time.
You black pastor,
Like I said,
you ain't going to take up too much of our time, sir. How long we been here? How long we been here? We've been here for about 40 or so minutes, and you still saying you ain't going to take up too much of our time. Are we at Black church or what? Okay? Shit.
It's 115 people, 1,000 people. It don't matter.
Wait, is it 115 or 1,000? Which one is it, buddy? Because 115,000, 15 people, that's not a number. 115,000. Kelvin, at this point, he needed cue cards. Him and Wendy both need cue cards together. Just help Wendy do the podcast. Shireen will be down with it. Something. Because y'all...
Nigga, you gotta be ashamed of yourself, nigga. Real talk. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. Old as you is.
You know, I ask people to spread it to the people that matter. And, you know, as long as you know, that's what's up. But like I was saying, at the end of the day, a lot goes into being part of any kind of production. And I feel honored to have been part of it. But the way it all went down, they definitely could have been more professional about it. And I'm seeking my justice for my legacy, for everything that is me. Moving forward, I appreciate everybody's support, and you know, not just Hunter Publishing, but you know, the people that came and supported Loretto and Brooklyn, NYC, the people that hopefully, you know, is going to support the new endeavor in Brooklyn. We're doing Caribbean Vegan.
Caribbean Vegan? I ain't never heard that before. Is that a thing, or am I tripping? I'm ignorant to both, so let me know if you're a vegan or if you're Caribbean or if you have knowledge of either of the two, you got a spouse or a friend. Can you combine the two? Because, see, I've never done Caribbean food, and I'm also not a vegan either. So I don't know if those two mix. And, see, I'm using anything to distract me and not listen to him, but that stuck out to me. Is vegan Caribbean food, is that a thing? You know who I think would know? I think Tanya TKO would know. I'm going to ask. I was talking to Tanya earlier today.
I will not continue to beat a drum, you know what I mean, when it comes to all of this. At some point, you know, if I get to writing a book, you know what I mean, and I feel like I've had enough memorable moments, I'll do that. I'm not trying to capitalize off of any...
You know what? Long as you talk about Charlemagne, write the book. I want to hear everything you got to say. Write the book. If you're gonna leave Charlemagne, I'll keep that shit.
Right, which is why I remain quiet. But this one here is just about respect. When you got people when you got people that you really help carve out something, you know, something that, you know, 200 after 238 shows, you know, that came and went, there's something stayed there, and you know, you don't give credit or respect. And I just happen to be black, but you don't give credit or respect. That there's a problem with that. And you know, if there's someone else going through a divorce, or you know, and they happen to be an executive producer, and you give them all the room and time in the world to deal with their issue, but this situation here, you know, was just about, you know, turning it and you know, into I don't know, reality show. For the people who are dwelling on the fact that I had a baby, a beautiful daughter, a beautiful, beautiful, smart daughter with a beautiful person, just know that at the end of the day, before there was any, and again, I take accountability for all my actions as a man.
Oh yeah, you do.
And I'm sorry that I hurt someone to that degree when it came to fulfilling a piece of my happiness. I've always been a family-oriented person, even though I'm not close with a bunch of my family. And I would have loved to create more family.
What?
But again, when you sacrifice, you know, the business, it's only people that's running a real race don't understand. When you run in a race, sometimes you don't find time or can foresee that if that's not part of your real foundation. And you know, for a long time, I thought that you get to somewhat of the top, because there was still some ways to go. When you get to somewhat of the top of a situation, and you think, yeah, this is what it is. Well, you know what? I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of stuff and do all that, but this is not what it is. A person need more than just this. They need foundation over everything. I've seen people with much less be more happier with their foundations, even where I'm at. And I'm sorry that the make sure no. I'm sorry that the emergence of life, how I decided to bring it, hurt her and the whole stereotype of what happens when a man does that. I understand that.
Baby, he said, I'm sorry that the emergence of life and the way that I brought it and the stereotype. Nigga, you cheated. You cheated on your wife, your famous wife, your millionaire wife. And you gonna put these words, I'm sorry that the emergence of life and the way, boy, you had an affair, baby. You had an affair, baby. But you low down, dirty dog. He a dog.
That you can't make everyone happy in that instance. But I do not regret what happened. I was not trapped into what happened. As a matter of fact, and again, I'm profusely apologetic for the impact it caused. I realize that. But as a matter of fact, the mother of my child, when we discovered it, she was like, no, you know, we don't need to. She was the first one to try to suggest an alternative, and I actually said no. And that's
so. Wait a minute, Sharina, because you won't say her name for some odd reason. When Sharina found out she was pregnant, she wanted to abort the baby, and you said, nah, we're not doing that. We're gonna humiliate my wife to the fullest. Is that what you're saying? Because I mean, first you said Sharina was your people's and a warrior for doing what she did. All she did was steal you from Wendy and steal Wendy's money. Now you saying that when she found out she was pregnant, she wanted.
It's because of the joy that I needed to have in my life at the time.
You needed joy. So you had to have a baby with somebody else and not Wendy. All this technology out here to help y'all conceive if Wendy potentially had complications. Hell, Kim Kardashian had a surrogate. You know what? I'm tired of you dancing around this like this, Kelvin. I'm tired. You need to stop it.
But you're not. Stop it! I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this. You go to bed at night, you lay there, you take responsibility for yourself.
See, Kelvin don't know how to take responsibility for himself. That's the thing.
Because of whatever was happening at 100 miles an hour and happening right under me and around me, that, you know, from whatever type of control freak people paid me out to be, there was a lot of things I couldn't control. But yeah, I could have controlled my actions better if I chose to.
Oh, if you chose to. Oh.
But until you've been in my shoes wholeheartedly to understand exactly what I was dealing with.
What was you dealing with?
You can't tell me nothing.
We can tell you a low down dirty dog.
I don't know too many men that could have done exactly what I did. And I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm not trying to act like I'm just saying the truth. I don't know too many people that could have done and bear the weight of what I did wholeheartedly. And
a lot of men could have cheated. I don't know how many men could have did what I did. You cheated. A lot of men could have did that. Cheated on a millionaire. A lot of men could have did. See, that's easy to do, to cheat. It takes more self-control to stay and work out your issues and file for divorce or whatever the case is. Don't say you don't know how many men could have done what you did because you cheated. Although you handled her business, you cheated. And to add insult to injury, you humiliated her. And it was like you were flaunting Sharina. You were flexing. You wanted to make her feel bad. See, I
don't know too many people that could have did what she did. That's why she stand on her throne no matter what.
Who? Sharina?
But for whatever we were supposed to be together at a point where I fought.
Wendy, okay.
I fought for family many a days. I fought to bring my son here. I fought to try to keep a semblance of what the essence of family is. And I've been on my own since I was 15 years old. So whatever I was trying to put together as family, to be family first, I stood on that strong. And what?
So because you've been on your own since you was 15 meant that you could try to put a bootleg assembly line of Wendy tolerating your disrespect, and even Sharina tolerating you double dipping back into Wendy when you felt like you were trying to put together that assembly and it didn't work. You being on your own since you was 15 has nothing to do with it. Kelvin, I'm pretty sure you're all of at least 57 years old, and I'm being nice, but let me look it up.
What happened? What happened is, you know, family didn't stand. Family wasn't a priority like it should have been. When you chase something more.
50. He 49.
When you.
Oh, he look old. He aging like milk. He aging like he ain't black. Girl, I know you lying. Girl, I know you lying. You need to stop. He need to stop.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to grow up. Grow up. Tired of telling y'all to grow up. Y'all need to stop it. I'm tired of it, y'all. You ain't finna wear me out.
Kelvin, you ain't finna wear me out. Let me let you finish. Girl.
When you chase something more and you start to forget, you know, what's important and what's like it's never supposed to be the other way around. Like it's supposed to be this first and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it all out no matter what happens. But when it's not that no more, and you got a million people and devils and serpents and snakes and salamanders and all that, you know, trying and feeding and enabling. And let's be clear, the enabling happened at an all-time high when I was desperately trying to get right.
T.
I don't care how much partying we done did and drinks, whatever. You get to a point where you got to get right. But when people want to keep you in a certain state, they enable.
Okay, that's true.
You know, and there was enabling happening clearly after my departure. There was enabling happening towards the end of my departure. And there were people that basically were saying, like, you know, even though we know there's a certain level of help needed, we're not getting behind it. We're not supporting that. We just want to make sure. We just want to make sure that she, you know, that she can do it.
Let's see. They don't care.
So, you know, when you got so many things stacked, and then as soon as you get out of the way, soon as you know, you can say, hey, if I place myself out of the way, if you think I fucked up the bag or whatever you want to say, like at the end of the day, the blessings came tenfold. I I wanted my son to have another sibling on this earth so that he can have somebody else to count on.
So you cheated? I know you not.
I want him to have blood.
I was trying not to hit pause no more, Kelvin, but I know you lying. You wanted your son to have another sibling, so that's why you cheated and had a side baby. I know that's not what you're telling me. I know that's not what you're telling me. Please tell me that that's not what you're telling me. Please. Let me go get Oprah. Where's she at? Because he said, I'm sorry that I needed to get my joy. The joy is the cootie cat. I'm sorry that the way in which I went about attaining my joy came at the, I wanted my son to have another sibling so he wouldn't have to do this earth thing by himself. So I went out and I humiliated my wife, who was a public figure and a millionaire, and flexed that in front of her. Kelvin, you should have took some bullet points and came and gave us that, because this is not giving. It's not giving what it's supposed to have gave. What was you could have gave us the highlights of tea and went viral off that. You made about 7 good points in this little bit over an hour live, and you annoyed us with everything in between. I know you cannot possibly be serious right now. I know you can't. I know you're not about to send me back to the bush and weep. First of all, you better get on.
Are you kidding me? You better get on. Better get on. Better get on.
He done lost his everlasting mind.
It was gone.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. However, what I will address is the enabling that he just spoke on. He said that they enabled her like there was no tomorrow. And like I was saying earlier, I totally agree with that. It's so similar to how they did Whitney Houston. Look at this picture. This picture is a meme, and I use it frequently on Twitter. If you ain't following me on Twitter, you need to get your ass over there right now. I don't know what you're waiting for. I caused a lot of friendly chaos, and I had my finger on the pulse. I let all my followers know about Tom Brady fake retiring and then saying he wasn't retired before CNN could even get their news out. My finger's always on the pulse, okay? It takes a while to get a video up, and I'm very meticulous, but nonetheless, this is a meme that I use frequently on Twitter. However, if I spend enough time to unpack it, it's sad. It is evidence that Wendy Williams and Whitney Houston were enabled the same way. You can't tell Whitney in this picture right here that she wasn't having a good time looking good in on her shit tonight, being an icon that looked iconic. You couldn't tell her that. She was so far gone off that stuff. Hair ain't right. It's a mess. But she was having a good time. She was being enabled because that was her vice. And if you wanted to get something from her, whether it was access, money, clout, proximity, whatever, all you needed to do was speak her language and engage with the booger sugar or whatever vices Whitney knew. And so the enabling that's taking place with Wendy Williams, luckily, thank God, I still have a couple of clips that I had got a while back. I mean, between her passing out in the New York City outfit on Halloween, between her just being out of her mind and not even knowing what a pipe cleaner was and thinking that a pipe cleaner was a man, not being able to say coronavirus. There was so many things going on with Wendy Williams, and she wasn't in her right state of mind because they kept her zooted and booted. What do they care if she passes out on TV? They paychecks will still get signed either way. But anyway, that was a good side note outside of Kelvin, because I'm sick of looking at her. And somebody in the chat said that it's Hawk's baby girl said that Kelvin Hunter looks like Benzino with a neck. And you know what, child? I gotta agree a little bit.
Ooh, stay positive. Okay, I will. You know, I had to throw a little shade. I'm Shady Boo.
Yeah, Kelvin definitely do look like a more brown Benzino with a neck. I would agree.
to get specific about a lot of things, again, one of the many things that I did, you know, during the divorce, in the midst of, not just before the divorce, I'm talking about during, was very integral in helping my son save his mom's life.
Okay.
While current management was ready for her to die, leaving her to die, imminent danger, and was on call. And if you really want to keep it funky, that's, you know, the whole situation with DJ Booth, and that's you know, shouts to you, my dude, but to keep it funky, like, you know, he called me. I had to ask him why. He said because he couldn't call anybody else. A whole staff of people there, and she's in a damn near a state that is crazy.
Oh, we know. We believe you.
People know she's in this state. People seeing what happened. They see she's broadcasting from the house. You seeing what's happening. Because it's pre-tape, you don't do anything. You just cut off the feed. And leave the DJ guy who happened to think fast, manning everything in the house. Where they do that at?
That's true.
You think if Ellen or somebody's broadcasting?
Again, he's a low down dirty dog. But listen, they did her so cruddy when she was working from home. Why didn't she have a team? Why didn't she have a staff? Why was it just her and DJ Booth? DJ Booth is a music engineer. That's it. I'm not trying to limit him or put him in a box. But what does he know about making sure that she has the technology, the equipment, her mind is in the right spot, that she's got her, however she gets into, you know, character, so to speak, whatever her pregame ritual is, even if it doesn't involve drugs, there's a way that you get into character and you get ready to do what you need to do on camera. Why would you think that DJ Booth is a producer and all this other stuff? Why?
From their house that, you know, they would do that?
They would never do Ellen that way. They would never do Jimmy Fallon that way. They would never do any of the women from The View that way. They would never do those folks that way. But Wendy, she got scraps as if she's broke.
Or Jimmy Fallon? Or the cast of The View? You would have at least 5 or 6 people on call. No, it was just Booth. And when he called me and told me what was happening, there was another individual that was there, that was there and knew. It was damn near like family that happened to jump in and see and help save. Wow. Management sat back and just let it all just happen. So, current management, y'all do the math. Y'all figure it out. Current and only management sat back. I happen to have been in New York taking care of some of I got to come back down here and start my life. My son is in Florida. You got to get an emergency medical team to come in and try to, a private one. And you got this guy denying coverage. He's denying coverage for this person to come on this, to come upstairs, for these people to come upstairs and save this woman's life. So when my son got to threaten and say, I'm gonna call 911 if you don't let them up. You never decided to call in the midst of everything. You didn't even call to see about what previous doctor she might have had that I had knowledge of. You didn't try to follow up with none of that. So whatever went awry, and now you got a person that's just getting ready to, you know. You got a person that's getting ready to damn near die. And they got to have 2 blood transfusions later. But these are also the same people that in the midst of the whole breakup and a distraught person, emotionally distraught person, They decided to pick the management. They, like a real conflict of interest. They bring in people that they got in pocket to be involved. So now the whole control game is at an all-time high. It's all about control. They don't care if somebody gets well. They don't care if somebody is functional. It's about control. And the control that they felt they had after I left, the control they thought I had when I was there, and that was my ex-wife. This person was going through some real stuff before any baby news or anything happened. This is some real stuff happening, and I'm not trying to diss. It ain't about dishing. This is about understanding what a person got to go through. I've had many people in my family, my immediate family, go through stuff, and whoever is on here who have remotely a family member that's really went through something, it's and just because you got money and you go through a whole masquerade stuff with makeup and that, when you take all that off, the person that you are is who you are. I left a lot on the table. Y'all don't have to worry about any haters or whoever coming in here trying to, at the end of the day.
Like I said, listen closely. Who do y'all think he was talking about that was in this live and got under his skin that he had to address and call them a liar, a well-established liar? Sounded like somebody might have been in there on the live in the comments trolling him. But y'all tell me who he talking about.
Today, I'm not going to give that person any type of energy. And she know who she is, but whatever, yo. You obviously have some weird obsession, and you really are unfactual. And we know that you lie, so it's all cool. Like I'm just here trying to talk some truth, and I am going to repost this. It's unfortunate that I couldn't do it on my page because people doing all kinds of craziness, reporting to me. I'm not really doing anything, but I appreciate coming on here and being able to let you know what it is. No, I am not getting back together with my ex. I'm currently cool. I'm happy.
Did Sharita make you say that?
I wish her well. You know what I mean? I'm in my zone. I'm in my relationship, with like I said, someone that's a rider no matter what anybody want to think. I'm trying to surround myself with good people that don't have ulterior motives and ain't just around. You know what I'm saying? I'm still Kelvin Hunter. I'm cool with that. I was Kev. I'm still Kev. I'm appreciating Kelvin. I'm looking at that as a new lease on life. My health and wellness is not a shtick. Ever since, what me and my son went through. And let me be clear about that, just to add some clarity, because I just recently heard something. When it comes to what my strong young king has been through in his life, such a special spirit, special genuine spirit, who's still learning his bumps and lumps, but special nonetheless. What we had to endure as a family at the time, while he went through his ordeal that was shared with millions and kind of misconstrued because he never had any addiction to anything. He just happened to, no different than if I smoked some weed for the first time and I just get sleepy and hungry, but his was not the same experience because of what it was and what he wasn't knowledgeable of. He's very knowledgeable of it now because I'll teach him whatever he needs to teach. I'll teach him whatever he needs to know and all the fundamentals and what he needs to know, that he allowed me to. But what he went through as a result of digesting that, and what we had to do at the time, what Wendy's contribution, along with myself, to trying to save my son's life was, what she tirelessly did for her family, to a point where, you know, what she tirelessly did was something short of extraordinary during the time when my son was going through what he was going through. Because we wasn't even going through it in the same country. We had to go to Honduras to deal with this whole issue. God bless the dead. Dr. Sabi is probably the last person, one of the last people that he healed was my boy. And when his mom had to endure, you know, what I didn't want her to endure on the other side, being in the jungle, what I knew what she could handle and what she couldn't handle. In hindsight, she probably needed to be there the most. But for as fragile as the situation was, she was not for good merit and for the business that we plagued ourselves with the business that we inundated ourselves with, and not take more time out. Because if we would have, maybe that would never happen to my son. But I had to go. And yes, my peoples, the mother of my child was very intricate in helping me through that process. When I had nowhere to turn and I couldn't necessarily put that pressure on someone who already was dealing with immense pressure.
Buddy, end this live, please.
I know a lot of y'all won't understand that.
You're making less and less sense.
That's okay. But again, this is about truth. So the truth is, I try to do the best I can in my weakest moment.
The truth is, you should have wrote down some fucking bullet points and read through those, because this is excruciating what we got to go through. I am going to do a video with just the notes and the efficient version, and I'm pretty sure that video is going to take me all of about 7 to 11 minutes to get through. The truth is, since you're talking about truth, is you should have wrote down some bullet points, because nigga, we are tired. Okay, the things that I done got from this video so far are what they did her dirty with the insurance coverage and saying that it wasn't compatible. Wendy Williams is worth $20 million. That is her net worth. Okay. She had to have 2 blood transfusions. They wouldn't allow medical officials to come through and really give her medical treatment. And your 20-year-old son had to call the police in order to infiltrate the team that was willing to sit there and watch her have these issues and get closer and closer to God in a way that wasn't spiritual, in a way that was, she was about to go on to glory. We get that. You know, Sharina is a warrior and Wendy Williams is a queen. This sounds like a non-consensual polygamous relationship. You disrespect your wife, your current girlfriend, and your ex-wife the same way. Listen, I have some notes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do. And I appreciate you shedding light on how much her team ain't shit. We could tell. They were putting out trashy headlines on purpose. They were purposely keeping her away from medical care so that they could watch her diminish and they could still get paid, if not even more. If Wendy Williams died tomorrow, she'd be worth so much more gone than she is here. Right? I'm sick of you, Kelvin. God damn. Tired of sitting here with you. I want to give my people all the real stuff. I wanted to deliver my people these mannerisms in real time. That's the reason why I'm here putting my people through this, watching, because some people do want to read your body language, and some people will appreciate my summary. Some people appreciate seeing all of your bull crap in between and how narcissistic you are and how much you make it about you. But brother, the sun was shining as bright as it could shine when you started. It's nighttime now. Damn. And you here advocating for Wendy's well-being while you big up in the mistress. I'm sorry.
in life because at the
Tired, you guys.
time I thought my son was going to die. And if it wasn't for the people who all played a part, he would not be here. Or he would have had to suffer. He don't have to suffer now. And now he's fighting a vigilant fight to make sure that his mom's is good beyond anything. So it's not about getting back to what everybody wants. It's about getting back to yourself and making sure it's good. Through what happened to my son, many people got affected in a positive way. He don't know how much of a vessel, an oracle of sorts that he was. So many people got touched from him in his ordeal when we had to change our diets 10 years ago. Because him coming back from there, he couldn't eat regular food. So we had to try and all, unite to help him. Now that same food is helping getting his mom well. That same food has kept me from being in and out of doctor's offices and with high blood pressure and all that other stuff. And what he's been able to do for many people around him is something short of extraordinary. So no matter what they try to tell you or paint a picture of when it comes to that boy, just know that that boy is special. He's special. That man, young man is special. And no matter what happens, hopefully the respect levels will stay to a degree where, he can have both his parents in his life. You think that's enough, P?
Yeah, it's definitely enough, buddy. Buddy, it is. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. It's enough.
I want to give love to all the people that I'm currently in business with, from everybody at Hunter Publishing, all the authors, the people that's allowing me to handle their projects, to my restaurant partners, Original Prime, my dude Finesse, man, I got mad love for you, my dude, your whole family. I want to give a shout out to my dude, Grandma Owie Music. I'll be on the lookout for that. They're about to make major moves.
Right. Right. We hear you.
There's going to be a few more things that pop up in the course of how this is evolving out.
Such as what?
And I ask y'all to really use your third eye when you're thinking about and seeing what's going on. Don't look at things on the surface, yo.
You want us to use our third eye? All right, I'll take that into consideration. We ask you to get some cliff notes and bullet points and summarize and be efficient with your delivery the next time you decide to deliver us something that's groundbreaking. Because the couple of things that you said, it does help Wendy's case, and it does shed light on things, and it makes us want to go after certain people, entities, and hierarchies. However, nigga, this was a snooze fest, a narcissist fest. I enjoyed listening to the crickets and the birds in the background more than I enjoyed listening to you make this about you. You asking something of us, and we asking something of you. Please oblige. Warm regards, Jane. Talk to you soon. Because what the hell?
Don't think somebody's sitting here wringing their hands. Don't think somebody's sitting up here being driven by some money. Because if I really wanted to be on that, it's a lot I could have did. It's a lot everybody around me could have did.
And I picked up on that too. I want to thank Hunter Publishing. Your last name is Hunter. This is clearly your publishing company. You're clearly trying to take some control back. so that Wendy and other talent that you pick up doesn't have to go through the corrupt people or entities that you have brushed up against since you've been in the game. Your last name is Hunter. This is your company. Stop. I want to thank Hunter Publishing. You are Hunter Publishing. It's you. You don't have to put your whole name in your face, but your last name. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with us before I smack you. I'm gonna smack him. I'm so sick, and he need to stop.
Funny, that's mean.
It's irritating.
And I finally could say from the people that did do me dirty, from the people that I'm content with what's around me right now. Enough that I could get on here and talk, and hopefully I ain't talk too much craziness.
What?
This will prepare me for whatever war or fight that's ahead of me.
Oh.
And the fam. People who know me know that, you know, regardless of what picture is painted, I stand tall in what I believe in and who I believe in. What I believe in and who I believe in.
Okay. All right, buddy. All right, pal. Buddy, is this it? Please.
And you know, that's about it.
Okay.
I want to give a special, you know, special thanks to that angel, queen.
My next caress.
When it comes to Miami Entertainment Law Group, Sean Thomas, people don't even understand. When you got somebody who really ride, who really, you know, everybody, yeah, it's about money and business, and that's what make it go around. When you got people that go that extra mile for you like that, to a point where they'll go, you know, what's being framed right now, what's happening right now, in order to give people their closure and their real peace, it's something short of amazing. And you know, Sean Thomas, you are amazing. And you know, the people that are against that.
You know, I wish he had done this like on stage doing a karaoke night, so that somebody, anybody, could have pulled the plug. Because baby, we are sick and tired. We're sick. At this point, we need to go to the hospital. We need rehabilitation after listening to all this. What the hell?
That, and they're committing all those heinous acts and trying to paint that picture. The people that's trying to take away from somebody who worked hard their whole life to you know, even if it killed, even if it dissolved some of the most important relationships in their life, whatever, including me, like you don't want to think that the people that you working the hardest for and making more money off of it than you will put you in a position where you look and being treated like some invalid, where you got to be pushed around in some wheelchair and fed in shores, and you clearly not there yet. Nothing against Insure. Health is wealth. There's much more things you can put in your body. And right now, the person that you seeing, and I'm talking about my ex-wife, the person that you seeing now moving around and getting her wits about her and her wind beneath her feet is all due to my son's relentless work of changing around what was happening. Changing around something that was beginning to be real evil.
And so you got a 20-year-old. Kelvin Jr. is 20 years old. He can't even legally buy alcohol. And he's 20 years old, and he's the only person who is able to really protect and shield Wendy and keep this whole malicious team system machine from demolishing her the way that they want to. Her son is up against a lot. A lot. Those are a lot of industry people with a lot of access. If they wanted to make Kelvin Jr. life's hell just for trying to protect his mom, oh, they could. Every time he go to check on her, he could be getting pulled over by a crooked cop. He could be the same way they were trying to set Wendy up, they could be setting him up. So, you know, don't get me wrong. I appreciate the fact that her son is noble enough to step up to the plate, but he doesn't need to be the only one. Because again, he's 20. What does he know? When they're feeding him these excuses for why they won't get her this, or why they're doing this thing that isn't the best for her, or whatever, it's easier to get over on a 20-year-old than you can get over on a 49-year-old or a 35-year-old, et cetera, et cetera. This is a really sad, unfortunate situation. It really is.
So again, pray for him. Pray for me and mine. You know, pray for yourselves.
Child, he told us to pray for ourselves. All right, child. We didn't pray for ourselves. Lord have mercy. That was a lot to get through. I want to know your thoughts. Thank you so much, Famecom Network, for the $10 super chat. I really, really, really do appreciate that. K-Max says, damn, can Wendy get any credit for helping herself also? He's saying it was Lil Kevin on. Wendy is fighting too. You know, this whole thing is so unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. You know, Wendy is surrounded by vultures and people that really want what she has, and what Wendy has is valuable even in death. You know what I mean? And so this is something that it sucks that she doesn't have a whole bunch of family. Her brother is even somebody who has been jealous and envious of the fame and attention that Wendy receives. And I know at some point I was, you know, following him on YouTube, Tommy Williams, and she had kind of experienced one of her major downfalls. She's had so many that they all blend together now, but she was experiencing a downfall, and he brings himself on camera to kind of get clout and smile and garner some attention. And they look just alike. Honestly, he just looks like the skinny boy version and she's the girl version. It's no doubt. Once that boy starts talking, that man starts talking and starts smiling, they look just alike. But he was clout chasing off of his sister, and while his sister was out of commission, he was trying to get whatever leftover attention, and not to send her well wishes, but to speak about and to publicly argue about what was going on with their parents around about when their mom passed away. So it's a really unfortunate situation when it comes to Wendy's circle. She's really not surrounded by love and people that truly care about her well-being outside of what they can get from her. It's really, really, really sad. I'm really curious to know what you all think about it. Kelvin had a lot to say. He said about 5, 6, 7, 8 things that were relevant. Everything else was him really trying to big up himself. For example, him pretending that Hunter Publishing Company wasn't his company, and him thanking the company for allowing him to speak, and so on and so forth. It's his goddamn company, you know. But like I said, let me know what you all think about it down below in the comments. I can't wait to chop it up with y'all again more. Listen, I know it's late. It's literally 11:50 at night over here on the East Coast in Baltimore. Baltimore staying up. I'm going to be live again in the next, I would say 20 or so minutes. Giving you another update on keeping up with Kanye. So y'all be sure to hit the notification bell. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you thumbs up on the video. Comment under the video, even if you've been in the chat box. Check out the community tab. Engage with that content. Let me know your thoughts on the sticky notes and the things there. But listen, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. I appreciate your time and your energy, and just know I don't take any of that for granted. Make sure you join the channel membership. R. Kelly's trial, R. Kelly is heating up again, and y'all know that is a big part of who I was last year. I swear, covering the R. Kelly trial last year literally got me a little over 50,000 subscribers. What do I have to show for it right now? You know, 1,000 and some change, but that's cool. You know, my voice, my person, my character, I'm still the same person regardless of these numbers that surround me in this digital space. So I look forward to aggregating all of the content with regards to R. Kelly. The channel members, you will be getting early briefs as we warm up. The next trial has not started yet, but as we get ready for the trial, I'm going to be doing all that I can do to make sure I read up. It's literally like a crash course, like a college course, going through all of that R. Kelly stuff. So if you want early access, because there's always stuff going on with R. Kelly, whether you know it or not. Actually, the R. Kelly news, the information, the appeals, the motions, the acquittals, and everything that they're trying to get done, none of that stopped. After the guilty verdict, the R. Kelly news was still coming in quick, hot. I was just burned out. And after he was found guilty, I tapped out. I tapped out of the R. Kelly arena. I moved on about my business to talk about other things. But now, as you know, whenever the trial starts, I don't like to start picking up and becoming knowledgeable about those things the day before or the day that the trial starts. I like to get in early, get warmed up so that I know what the temperature is, who all of the characters and the moving pieces are, the judges and, you know, the attorneys and so on and so forth. So as we get warmed up with all of those things, we will definitely be backstage and members only, where you have early access to all of the R. Kelly information. As you know, your girl, the Plain Jane, is gearing up to cover the next trial. Why would I not? I know at first people's like, oh my God, you gonna cover all the trials? You gonna cover the one here, there? And I was like, I don't know. The answer is no. No, the answer is yes. I'm going to be covering the trial. So if you're looking for a home to get all of your R. Kelly updates, look no further. It's here. Subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Make sure you hit thumbs up on the video. Yes, I did win the contest. If you look on the community tab, and thank you for asking, Yvonne, I did win my Baltimore Media Impact Award. I'm actually holding it right now. Let's see. Do I want to turn the camera on? Do I want to turn the camera on for y'all? Let me see. So I can show y'all, because I'm like holding it right now because I really value this award. So yeah, let me if you can see right here, this is the Baltimore Media, and this is my webcam and not my actual camera, but yeah, this is the Baltimore Media Impact Award that I won on, I think it was February 20th. I hosted that award show as well. So it was really interesting hosting an award show and then turning around and winning an award when it really wasn't on my mind. I was just worried about making sure I hosted the event the right way. But it was awesome. Thank you so much for asking, and thank you for remembering that I was nominated for the award. And most importantly, thank you for voting for me in the award show. I see I have a $49.99 super chat. Thank you so much, PD Grind. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, your vote definitely did count. I'll show it again. I know I showed it in another video. It is linked down below in the description box. You'll notice in the description box, there's a video that I have titled, and it's also on the channel, titled I Am Not OJ. Kanye says I am not OJ. In the very beginning of that video, I also mention and hold up the award as well if you want to see it in good light. But if you want to see a still picture, check out the community tab and try to scroll to the bottom. I think there's only like 77 things on the community tab anyway, since this is a bit of a newer channel. But nonetheless, listen, thank y'all so much for being here. I know this was a long live, and I felt like Kelvin Hunter talked too much, but I also felt like I did want to sit here with y'all for a little over an hour and kind of just react to what was happening. His body language, when he got off topic, when he wanted to make it about himself and be narcissistic, and so on and so forth. So I still enjoyed spending my time. And like I said, I will be live again in about 20 minutes, just giving y'all a quick update. The video that I'll be live with in about 20 or so minutes will literally probably be no more than 20 minutes, 15 minutes itself. There's not really a lot to go over, but it is nonetheless a Kanye D.L. Hughley update and what's going on in the world of Kanye and his feud and so on and so forth. So listen, don't forget to check in on yourself, find some peace, and do some things to grant yourself release. And most importantly, hold on to your loved ones. I recommend that y'all subscribe to my channel because I think I'm awesome. Make sure you thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. And be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of this celebrity or trending syrup, because you know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. Don't forget to drop one of them pancake emojis, and y'all stay beautiful, black, and blessed. Until the next time. Deuces.
But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on Black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.